See if anybody comes to the YouTube live. That happens. I don't think anybody's viewing yet, but oh, stop it. Do 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 do. Here at work. Hi, you're my first viewer. I'm trying to put TikTok on here at the same time. Unable to go live. Oh, still can't go live on TikTok. Damn. Well, maybe people will join us and maybe not. We will see. See how that goes. Well, as predicted, can't go live on TikTok. If you'd like to join the live, the YouTube link is in the link tree in my bio. And I'm going to go live for half an hour or so, see if anybody joins. Hope to see that. Well, okay, gonna try. Okay, gonna try the combo YouTube TikTok live. Actually have anything to jump into without a whole bunch of people here. It's unfortunate because there's been a lot of unhappiness on the TikTok today. Just a lot. But threats of doxing, a lot of attacks. Guess that's the kind of the price of being in the public, huh? Yeah, I keep getting. Oops, I got a new webcam just for this. It can't seem like I'm off size from it. It's unfortunate because I really like to go live and participate with people, and I'm told there's a very different vibe when I'm live, and I think that's because I can more intelligently engage with people. It's not so one-sided or whatever, but it's the price of doing business. I mean, it's their platform, right? They can have whatever rules they want. But we were going to do my friend Angie that was live last time with me wanted to do a center of balance challenge or something. She said we should do that. Apparently there's a thing where like a man and a woman get on the ground next to each other and get on all fours, and then you lift your arms away and most of the men fall. And it's obviously because men have a much heavier center of gravity forward in their upper body than women do. That's hardly surprising, but I think it just looked like fun. Everybody's doing. I think we have to put like some pies or something down to smash our faces into. That'd be funny. I was kind of thinking I should cook something. People seem to like it when I cook. I'm sorry, Owen, you're not getting much of a live here. I'm not really sure what to say when I'm just talking to myself. Let's see what's going on. I just had like a runaway AK-47. What do you get when you look at your For You page? I get sort of a random smattering of either people to connect with like politically, which is probably because of what I interact with, or just like the bikini clad chicks which is, you know, I'm good with. Bella Porch on occasion making her cute little face things. What do you mean by docs at work? I'm misunderstanding. I've seen docs before. Hi, Jeremy. Apparently, there's several people that wish to, I don't know, call my workplace and tell them I'm a terrible person and such, which is kind of stupid since I'm the highest level guy that speaks English, but okay. You know, they want to attempt to attack my dog. It's Kelly Crew, I guess, who I had some level of argument with several weeks ago. And then the chick I was talking to today, the coaching, the date coach lady, I guess, are getting together to attack me offline. Whatever. See how that goes, I guess. Private live. Is my live private? Is that why people can't join? I don't know. It's not Crew was talking to the day. Yeah. For a woman who talks a lot about how women are unsafe offline, she's awfully anxious to attack somebody and take this offline. I mean, interesting, huh? But that's how it goes with these kinds of people. If they can't engage you intellectually, they try to attack the rest of your life. They don't have the intellectual capacity to engage you. They don't have the emotional management. Oh, you're getting your own private life. They don't have the emotional capability to just either walk away from it or tell you you're wrong or continue to argue, you know. Yeah. The yellow picture? I don't know what the yellow picture is. Oh, that little teenage kid? Yeah, I don't really care. Toward the end of the day, there was like a whole bunch of like teenage kids all of a sudden that jumped on and just started kind of talking shit. And it was like, where did you children come from? And why do you think you have the intellectual capacity to engage? I mean, you're gonna what? Come at me with stupid shit your high school teacher told you? Okay. Why is that impressive? But yeah, those kind of nasty people, I guess. That's how it goes, right? Which I find weird. I don't know. It's one of those things. Thank you. I appreciate that. Soul magic. Ooh, I like that. I think it's largely a product of frustration. Okay, so now some people keep sending me this chick. Can you see this at all? Or Alexa, turn off the kitchen lights. I don't know, it's too bright, I guess. Let me see if I can turn down the brightness on the phone screen. This woman? People send this woman to me a lot. But she's just crazy. Like she doesn't back up anything at all that she says with any kind of research. I mean, even like pseudoscience crap. It's all just masturbatorial anti-male stuff. I engaged her on one thing, but when you get someone like that, there's no real point in engaging them. They're just sort of a nasty person that's telling other shitty people what they want to hear. There's no Alexa, turn on the kitchen lights. There's no rationality or logic behind it. So you can't really even argue with what she's saying because it's entirely based on sort of an opinion, paradigm structure. There's nothing there to argue with. There's no like, let's trade data, let's argue your viewpoint. Like, it's, even if you don't necessarily have data, you can argue a viewpoint using some kind of logical construction, right? And then go forward from there. But she says things like, I think the one I get sent a lot is, men shame women for being promiscuous more than they shame other men for being rapists. And it's like, where do you say things like that? What world are you living in? How can you possibly back up a statement like that? And if you can't back it up, how can you possibly antagonize it except to say that's complete horseshit? There's no data either way on that, because nobody ever collected data on that, because it's so obviously false. And yeah, so that's one of her statements, and it was made about 2 weeks ago. Well, I don't know. I tried to respond a lot. At first, it was much more positive. It's becoming much more negative, which is unfortunate. I think that is largely because I piss people off a lot. Perhaps it's my delivery. It's bound to attract a certain number of antagonistic. Yeah, who people wrong makes them double down, and that's unfortunate. Everybody obviously thinks that they're right when they hold a certain opinion. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't hold it, right? And that's natural. That's normal. And it's natural to want to defend the opinion that you hold, and you really should. You shouldn't just be, oh, well, you told me I was wrong, I guess I'm wrong. What's unfortunate is these people, they get like super, you'll get like this, ooh, you're gross. Okay, but what does that have to do with anything? It's like, okay, I agree with you, I'm gross. Now what? Where are we going with that? We're not going anywhere with that. The one that was just amusing today was like, well, I don't have to study anything to know that misogyny is, the patriarchy is real. It's like, I can't argue with that. There's no, there's no counter to, I don't have to study. This is my reality, and I refuse to argue. Hush. There's no way to argue with someone who takes a religious stance. You don't think, green flags, the positive. Yeah. And I think I've gotten to a point, and I realized that a lot today because I got a whole bunch of messages this morning and last night that were just like, go get this chick. And I go and look at the video that it sent, and it's like, but I agree with her. I don't. One of them, I think, was the most obvious one, was this girl that was talking about being a sugar baby. And she said, I get a lot of questions about it, and I like these two sites, one of which is in my Instagram. She's obviously trying to generate traffic. You go there, and on this site, you can swipe right on guys. And I tell them, if I tell them, I say I'm looking for a sugar daddy, and if they approach me, I tell them I'm a sugar baby. And this guy was like, go attack her. And I'm like, but for what? She's not hiding anything. She's on a site where people are trying to engage in this kind of transactional behavior. I think it's stupid for the guys from an economic standpoint. I think this is a level of foolishness. But on the other hand, they're just buying that. I think it's really stupid because they're not even buying sex. They're just buying shit for some girl they'll never meet. To me, that's bizarre. But they're not. They know exactly what they're doing. They are there to do that. So what am I supposed to dog this chick for? She just engaged in capitalism. I mean, the fuck do I care? Women in my college class attacked my professor because said, yes, I agree, and I'm a male feminist. the feminazi thing has become more than just a term. It's literally kind of Nazi-like behavior. And they accuse everyone else of being Nazis. And when you point out, these are the tactics that the brown shirts literally engaged in. These are the tactics that you are using. They are mirroring each other. They go into a cognitive dissonance and they cannot accept it. You know, but look, here's you doing this. Here's them doing this. This is the same thing. It's not the same. You're not. It's like, but, and it has become, it has become a religious thing. It's gotten past the point of intellectualism or a political movement and gotten to a point of religion, where engaging in any level of criticism is blasphemy. Changed the female bathrooms to all gender bathrooms in the art building, but kept the men's bathrooms. Yeah, I don't know. The bathroom thing is like, to me, the bathroom thing doesn't even need to be a conversation. Just eliminate all gendered bathrooms and make the stalls, you know, vision tight like they are in Europe. The Europeans come over, I'm like, why are there such huge gaps in your doors? It's so weird. It's like, okay, let's just have European style stalls in all the bathrooms and have no genders, because you're going to be in the fucking stall anyway, so who cares? Why are we even talking about this? Isn't everyone a feminist? No, I get a lot of people actually, and they hate women. They believe that, you know, women are evil. There was one guy, I was actually going to make a video responding to him. It was like, I can't get past the idea that women are evil. There's too much evidence. It's like, they're not. There's a social construction right now that is leading our women further and further down a path that is destructive. There's nothing inherent about it. It's a social construction, and eventually it will go away and change. But if we want to see that change sooner, we need the impetus of that change. Sorry, so I'm not understanding. So embarrassed. The senior class girls that was involved had taken pictures of for my show, asked me why I took her out of my showcase. I said I didn't have enough money to print their photos. I'm not sure I understand that, Soul Magic. It's like, I understand that I'm taking a very one-sided approach on my TikTok to put forth the things that I believe women need to engage with and be held accountable for, like decision-making. But it's a decision-making paradigm, right? Like, there's nothing inherently evil. It's just piss poor decision-making, you know? I think it has a lot to do with that we don't teach. What are you guys complaining about over here? That we don't teach evolution and biology properly. We don't teach that there are different evolutionary pressures. We're trying so hard to eliminate the idea of differences between sexes that we've thrown out the baby with the bathwater and neglect the reality that there are differences. And there's instinctual and preferential differences. And if you don't admit that and say, hey, we, you know, and take these preferential instinctual differences and become aware of them and then make them, you know, deliberate in your processes of thoughts, you end up screwing yourself over. Want them in my showcase. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So I didn't connect those things. Got it. So I think that there's a lot of poor decision making going on. But that doesn't make anybody evil or bad. It's just poor decision making. And if we can engage and say, this is poor decision making, you know, you keep dating the shittiest person you can find, and then you keep going through that pattern because you're not learning from the pattern and taking ownership of the behavior. You're like, this person was a shithead. They shouldn't be a shithead. And you're right. But if you keep choosing a shithead, all the 70 other guys that wanted to date you see that, and they all say, well, I should also be a shithead because that's what she's choosing. And then you come back out and you complain about it, and they say, well, maybe I should, engage with her now in a pleasant way. And then you go choose the next shithead because you're following a pattern you don't understand. All the other guys are like, I should just act like this. And well, it's natural to cling to it because I make people defensive, and part of that is my delivery. It's abrasive, and maybe I should work on that. And part of it is that people do not like to admit that they're doing something wrong. People don't like to embrace the reality of, I have been fucking up all my life. That's men and women. That's everybody. That's just a human nature thing. People feel like if they admit wrongdoing, it's some form of blame, right? Like, oh, I have been foolishly dating all these people, and it sucks, right? And it's like, right, you can, but if you just say it's me, I screwed this up, it actually is very empowering, and they don't understand that. But you also have, and maybe some of it is because I keep kind of engaging with some of these nutbags, like the Kelly Crew chick that was like, most men, she really said, it's not all men, it's just most men are rapists. And you're like, that's like, and then I prove it's not mathematically possible. You can't, that cannot functionally be true. You can't mathematically claim that to be true. Even if you use all violent crime in the entire country, you cannot claim that to be true. And of course, she just goes nuts, and then, she's calling them where I work and such. And that's just crazy person. And the thing was, somebody directed me to that, and her original point was that I was directed to was when women are going on a first date, they are afraid of physical violence, and some guy's like, well, men get attacked too. And I actually said, no, she's right. Women are in much more danger of physical violence, and arguing to the contrary is just stupid. And then, which was idiotic. I don't even know that she knows that or remembers it, because of course she just creates this narrative in her head where she goes ballistic and shit nuts. Because she legitimately does just hate all men. I don't know how you can accuse nearly all men of being rapists and not also simultaneously agree that you hate all men. But that is her reality. And I didn't actually know that when I started because I was agreeing. Here's somebody telling me, oh, no, I can't do this, the crazy woman. And you get this, this other woman saying, men shame women for being promiscuous more than they shame other men for being rapists. And I'm like, we kill other men for being rapists. I mean, that's... it's not an acceptable thing to say. But there's more and more of these kind of nutbags that I'm kind of getting. And sometimes they're not identifiable, at the beginning as somebody that's a nutbag. Because if I can see they're just a nutbag, it's like, I'm not going to engage with crazy. I don't, you can't go anywhere when you're engaging with someone who's crazy. You might as well, talk to a cactus, because this person's just, you're not going to go anywhere. So I don't know. Hi, buddy, I see you. Sorry, Zeus is not getting his head pet, so I get complaints. But the point is it is. Where do you think a lot of this started? The anti-man movement? I think we have several structures converging at once. There have been legitimate gripes as far as things like racism and sexism and so forth for many years. As the reality behind those gripes began to disintegrate, these people were faced with a conundrum, which was for many years, they benefited from being able to blame someone else for the state of their life. Regardless of their own actions, they could always blame the man, right? They could be a complete shithead and then make this big diatribe about how either a man or whitey or whoever was holding them down. As that went away and then increased the pressure on them to have to take real and legitimate action to further their life, they go into a cognitive dissonance where it's like, but wait a minute, you're telling me my life is shitty because of my actions? And so they increasingly reach for ever more esoteric, intangible structures to replace the tangible structures that have gone away in order to maintain the reality that someone else is to blame for the state of their life. Because to come to grips with the state of their life is their own responsibility and their own doing is horrible to them. They'd have to change so much about themselves. They'd have to change the way they perceive their reality. So as we fix more and more things, as far as feminism, wage gap has been categorically disproven. They have less and less real and tangible things to blame their life on. So they get more and more intangible, esoteric things, and they cling to them more, harder. And they go into more histrionics and more hysterics as you attack those viewpoints, because there's less to hold on to, so they must more violently defend them. It's actually a symptom of things getting better. So when, at a time and place where at least the people I'm talking to, which are something like 95% American, are benefiting from living in the richest and most egalitarian culture in the world, there's more division and blame than there ever has been. As we have destroyed many of the social structures that gave people's life structure and meaning and direction as well, they flounder. So it used to be that, boys had a role that they filled, women had a role that they filled. They had some idea what direction they wanted to go in life. As we removed those things as well, they find themselves, scared and floundering. They don't do very well in life because they don't know what to do with themselves. And they have to put that responsibility for having not done very well anywhere but right here. And so they create these intangible structures. The patriarchy is to blame. And the patriarchy is to blame for everything. Whether you're a man and you commit suicide, it's the patriarchy. If you're a woman and you don't make as much as you think you should, it's the patriarchy. If you don't know fuck all about cars and the mechanic takes advantage of you, it's the patriarchy. If you didn't do as well as you could at school and so you didn't get the job you wanted, it's the patriarchy. Everything comes to the door of this intangible empire of the patriarchy, or the invisible 1% rich people who own everything, and all is to blame on these people, and there's no room for personal responsibility, accountability, or ownership of someone's place in life. And it's unfortunate because it removes any impetus to address legitimate problems that may continue to exist, because you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater when you blame everything on the patriarchy. Anything that might have been a legitimate gripe gets lumped in with the rest of the bullshit and you lose it. And it's unfortunate because to take full ownership and responsibility of your life gives you power and authority over your life. And they don't embrace that reality. And it's deeply unempowering to constantly put the authority and the ownership of your life in someone else's hands. It's very destructive. It's ultimately makes you a slave to everyone else. What do you think of the video of the girl saying, sell all stocks and focus on her instead? I'm fair certain it's a joke. Guys, we do have to have room for humor, all right? Sometimes people just being funny. I've got a bunch of those too. Look at this chick. It's like, guys, she's making a joke. But she kidding. It's okay. I did back, throttle back, throttle back. Girl, just kidding. You know, like let's not go take a blowtorch to everybody's face because they made a joke. How about we have room for a sense of humor? He said, that's one of the problems I have encountered is not just the wingnut fringe element women, but I'm getting a lot of wingnut fringe element men that like they can't take a joke. They think all women are evil. There's a lot of this red pill stuff that I don't really like. I've read The Rational Male, where that idea came from, and the whole thing is about like how evil women are, and everything they do is this deliberate, calculated, malicious maneuver to enslave and subordinate men and extract economically from them. And I'm like, they're not that fucking. I mean, for one thing, they're not sitting around a table in the fucking dark like planning this. Right? They're, what are you talking about? That's not how life works. I'm genuinely perplexed by anyone who thinks the stock market is the only means of is the only means of an income. The stock market should, unless you're very rich and invested very early and have a dividend income that's pretty fucking substantial, and I don't. She's saying genuinely perplexed by anyone who thinks the stock market is the only means of an income is true. There are people that think the stock, and they do trading, and maybe they make enough off the stock market to do it. I don't. I have no interest in doing so. I don't think I would enjoy that. But that still doesn't mean she's not really saying like dump your only means of income and focus completely on her. That's not what that says. That doesn't say. She wasn't kidding about that. $20 is, like I think everybody should get investments, and I think you need to monitor your investments and grow them over time. Warren Buffett's whole investment thing tells people all the time. He's like, one of the problems with people that invest is they think that they have to move their money around a lot. People think that because they can sell and buy, they should be selling and buying, rather than put your money in a valuable stock that gets continuous returns and let compound interest work for you and just leave it the fuck alone. That's what Warren Buffett said a lot. Now he's got a whole company that searches out what he calls undervalued stocks in order to buy them early so that they will escalate very quickly. That's what his business is. But for those of us that are like, well, I've got two consulting businesses of my own. I've got a plant that I run. I got a lot of shit going on. And I don't have the interest in getting the education needed to create, that kind of investment portfolio. I've got the intellect to do it. I don't have the interest to put my intellect on it. There's someone at my door. Go on. Stop it. Why aren't you barking? Because no one's there. It's a cat. I got one of those ring things, and it shows me video. I see you, buddy. Talk. I received a message. LOL. Let's see what somebody sent me. Oops. Sorry, I turned it off.
You married to Tina, right?
Yeah, Tina, my wife.
Yeah. Oh, okay. How long you been married to Tina?
Me and Tina been married 5 years.
Okay. See, we our family member actually has been missing for 6 years. Does Tina have a birthmark on her shoulder?
Yeah. So we trying to say my wife part of your family or something? Is that what you trying to say?
I'm certain that your wife Tina is my brother Tim. You know,
so you trying to say for the last 5 years I've been sleeping with a man? That's what you trying to say. If it is, I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm not even gonna want to talk about what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be so you're gonna have a dead bro. That's what you're gonna have. You're not gonna do nothing to my brother. Yeah, I'm gonna do something to it. You're gonna be mad. You're not gonna do nothing to my brother.
That's a lot. That's a lot of anger. That's a lot of anger about that situation for someone randomly calling on the phone. They used to play that when we were at the pulling butts at when we did the rifle range. So what they do is they split your unit, you know, kind of in two, and some of you go and pull the targets down while the other guys are rifle calling, and they would play funny radio stuff that was down in the trench where you're pulling and raising shit. Yes, unfortunately, if you weren't paying attention, you started laughing. You're fucking up some guy's score because oh shit, I gotta pull the target down, put all the fucking things in. It's kind of a dick move. That was only on the slow fire. They were like, "Oh, targets, pull your targets," and they pull them down, and then you mark. But on the slow fires, you're supposed to be paying attention to when the target was hit, and then pull it down and mark it. So the guy up there would be like, "Oh fuck, I'm off." Although that's on the known distance course. Did I lose everybody? I don't see anybody talking. I might have lost everybody. I guess so. Okay, people. I want to thank you for joining me. Oh, wait, did you see the video where the guy was like, "Can you have a sexual?" Yes, I did see that. Like 3 people sent me the thing where it was like, a man can sleep with another man and not be gay. He's just attracted to having the sex. There was a scene. Let me see if I can find it. That reminded me so much of. I think it was in Scary Movie. Let me see. Let's see. Scary Movie, You Sucked My Dick. Anyway, there was a really funny scene. Just cooking at the same time. Everybody's here. Okay, that's cool. There was a really funny scene in a movie, and I don't remember, but I think it was one of the Wayans brother movies where they were talking, and somebody said they were gay, and dude looked, he's like, "I'm not gay," and the other guy's like, "But what about that?" He's like, "First off, you sucked my dick." I was like, "Oh my god," I was dying. What was the purpose of that, of the video? Of you have to say no homo first. I don't think it makes a whole hell of a lot of sense either. I just don't like think I could get it up for another guy. Like he, I think I'd stay. That could be a very beautiful man, and I'd just be like, "Yeah, dude, I don't know what to do with you." Homophobic, not to wanting. Yeah, I saw that. No, it's not. This whole idea. There are physiological, psychological, and chemical and hormonal differences between men and women. Somebody that full on got the surgery and you couldn't tell, I don't know what to do there. I honestly don't. I think to have a gut reaction that says that used to be a man and I just don't want to go there, I don't believe that to be homophobic. On Bumble once, somebody I want a really pretty one, and I matched with them. Like, and the first 3 messages, I'm like, "Hi," and she's like, "I'm Holly" or something. She's like, "I want you to know I'm post-surgical trans," and I was like, "Yeah, I just can't go there. Nothing against you. It's just I don't think I can bring myself there." She was real nice about it. She was like, "Okay, I understand," and I don't think anybody's pushing for that. I've never met a post. No, that's me, and I can't use my personal experience. But I've never met a post, and it's such a small. It's not statistically significant number of people. That's the really weird part. Our society is bending over backwards to make this huge amount of accommodations for really a few thousand people out of literally hundreds of millions. It's not like there's, millions of post-surgical transsexuals. Why is this such a big fucking deal? The likelihood that you'll ever actually interact with a post-operating transsexual is so low. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who cares? And then you end up with that weird, they have those weird situations. There was a couple in New York that was supposedly, they're transsexual, except they're pre-operational, and she got him pregnant. I was like, how, what, I just, whatever. Are we going to be forced to date? Going to be forced to date trans women, even if someone wanted you to force date. There's not enough. It's such a non-issue, and I commented on that. I didn't even comment on the transsexual part. I commented on the but there are lots of trans on TikToks. Do you not think the stats are changing? No. Look, even if every homosexual became a transsexual and got surgery, it's still not a statistically significant amount of the population. So who cares? Let the mows be mows, man. I don't give a fuck. I remember when I first got home from the Corps, one of my friends had a birthday and she wanted to go. There's a club in Sacramento, the name of which I cannot remember. Faces. Faces is the big gay club in Sacramento, only I didn't know. I didn't know what it was. And they're like, yeah, let's go to Faces. All the girls like to go to Faces. So we go to Faces. Has anybody seen Chasing Amy? And there's this scene where the guy realizes he's in a gay bar. It was just like that. Like I'm sitting at the bar, people are dancing, I'm sitting at the bar. There was one very obvious, at least transvestite, like a 6'3" dude with all the makeup and shit on. And they're dancing or whatever, and I'm sitting in the bar, and a guy comes up and he said, hey, can I buy you a drink? And I'm like, you can, but he's like, and people thought I would be, I'm like, why? The gays, they tend to be attracted to only other very attractive men. If they come and hit up on you, like, apparently you were attracted. I don't know. Why is that? The new I didn't even know there was a new Jay and Silent Bob movie. When the hell did that come out? The last one I saw was when they had the girl from American Pie and they let a bunch of monkeys loose. God, years ago. I didn't know they made another one. Guys, I'm going to eat some Oreos. Now I got to look up that scene. Went to shop the reboot of the movie from being made. Huh?
So for you to fuck is to penetrate. You're used to the.
I mean, not for I got from Nina Rock and he's spinning.
Shit.
Trying to find this scene.
Did you know that the average adult has 5 to 20 pounds of toxic poop in their body at any given moment? Seems crazy, right?
No, they don't.
Just sitting there, rotting away.
God, people advertise such complete horse shit.
All right, I should. for that glorious day.
Yeah, this is the scene. It's pretty funny. Like, he suddenly realizes they're gay. This is very young Ben Affleck. That's me. I swear to God, I did this in faces. Right. Oh! Ah! I totally did that. Yo, totally did that. I was like, I didn't know. All right. I feel kind of stupid now. I didn't care. Apparently, everybody thought I would get upset because I'm kind of like the conservative dude. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck if people are gay. Gay it the fuck up. I don't give a shit. I knew a drag queen that did a charity fucking walk, like 11 miles in like 9-inch platform heels. I was honestly kind of impressed. I'm like, damn, I wouldn't make it 10 feet in them fucking things. I was kind of impressed. So, shit. Big, tall dude, too. So it was like 8 feet tall. There was a little gay kid. Oh, he was an ugly fuck. Should I say that? This giant nose and a lot of bad acne. But he was one of the most musically talented people. He could play like a bunch of instruments. And my ex-wife used to sing. And she'd be in these shows. And as often as not, I'd get voluntold to do some kind of backstage thing. But anyway, so I had done some prop stuff for this show. And it was after the show. It was like 2 weekends. And it was like the second weekend. We went out to dinner to a burger place here in Sac. And I guess the bathroom was broken. And you had to walk like half a block down the street to a different restaurant to go to the bathroom. Or a gas station or something. I don't remember. So after everybody ordered, I kind of had to go. So I get up. And I'm going. And this dude was talking to my ex-wife. He's fidgeting. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, I got to go to the bathroom. But I don't want to walk down the street. It's dark. And she's like, Matt just went. Just go catch up with him. And he was like, he didn't know we were married. He was like, I don't think that dude's like okay with me. And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, what? Haven't you seen him? He's kind of, 1940s. And she's just busts up laughing. She's like, my husband? And dude apparently looked all horrified. She's like, he doesn't care. That's just his face. He doesn't care. And so guy was so embarrassed from it that he had to get up, and he comes, and I'm walking down the dark street now, so I'm kind of aware, and I hear somebody coming up behind me. I turn around and look at him. I'm like, oh, hey. And he says, hey. We start walking, and we go, and obviously it's kind of quiet in the bathroom. We come back out. We just start, I'm like, so, at a time, I'm like, dude, you are so fucking with the piano, and you play like 14 instruments. And we're just talking, and apparently he got back, and he sat down next to Amy. He's like, he's a darling. And she's like, yeah, I know. Why does anybody think I give a fuck? I don't know. What music are you into? That depends. Am I working out or just hanging out with you guys? Alexa, play Fun Time. This is my list for fucking chicks. Alexa, set the volume to 6. This is the playtime music. If you're gonna get it down with the girls, this is a good list. I got one of the subs I'm training, she noticed actually that it was the same list last time. She'd been over like 3 or 4 times. She's like, you always play the same music. I just realized that. I'm like, oh, I got a playlist. So now she's been sending me songs that she thinks are sexy. But she's really into the kind of EDM stuff. But when she comes over, I'll probably build a playlist for that. Autumn Leaves by Cannonball Adderley at Dirty Times. Okay. Put that in the... Please listen to it. Autumn Leaves. Autumn Leaves Explicit. I got a whole bunch of them. Chris Bound, Eva Cassidy, Chet Baker, so I'm going to have to find that particular one. By Cannonball Adderley. There it is. There. I got it. Has to be the cat. Yeah, I was fighting that version. I know sometimes you get a song and it's really good, but you got to have the right version. Another name for friends with benefits? No, I have two kind of friends with benefits. In fact, I gotta. Moves. So a sub is a submissive. I have a couple of ladies. I never take more than 3. So I'm a BDSM dominant. And I'm training a couple of women in how to be a submissive in the BDSM world. The friends with benefits are also submissives, but they're not training subs. Night Moves, Bob, or Made for Loving Kiss. You stop it. I see. No, I don't like your nose. No. I actually like this song a lot, just on its own. Why is your name on everything Stormcloth? I thought it would be easy to find that way. Come on. How do you find these women as you say you're... Oh, Mr. Bob Seeker? I am petting the dog. You have no idea how needy he is. He gets lots of cuddles and snuggles and stuff. That's why he's whining at me, because I've not paid attention to him for 20 whole minutes. Stop it! Often online, on dating sites, both Bumble and Match. My profiles just say openly, I am not vanilla. If you want to know what that means, ask me. And a lot of women, especially since 50 Shades of Grey, are very curious about it. And we talk and we meet and I discuss it with them, and a lot of them are very much like, well, I've always wanted to try it, but I don't know what to do. I take it actually as a very big compliment, because they are coming to basically a stranger's house who tells them openly, I'm going to tie you up and I'm going to hurt you and humiliate you. I'm going to do terrible, degrading things to you. And they're putting themselves in my hands under the promise that I'm not going to harm them. Hurt and harm are different, right? Like, there's pain involved, and they're going to have bruises. But it takes a lot of time. You have to have real conversations. Now, part of the beauty of BDSM is the vulnerability of that, of revealing very early in a relationship all of your secrets. 50 Shades of Grey was terrible. 50 Shades of Grey was a terrible representation of sex. It was written by a fat woman that thinks everybody has orgasms simultaneously. I mean, there's no question. It's a terrible book. But it got a lot of women that were very like, I wonder what this is like. And that's why they want to, that's why they are exploring. And a lot of them, it typically takes 6 weeks before we find the real limits. I will tell you openly, the real limit is usually the hook. A lot of women, they find the hook way too much. But some of them don't. Some of them find it to be very intense. The true masochists really love the hook. A lot of them, I tell you, Alexa, set volume to 4. A lot of them, more than looking for really kinky sex, honestly, guys, they're looking for masculinity. The hook is it. I'll go get it. I'm describing it. Oh God, legs are dead. Leg day. Alexa, turn on the. Okay, so this is the hook. It is an anal hook. It is used to train, especially women in oral sex. They usually attach it to a leash that goes to a choke chain to their neck down to here, and then I'm gripping the handle. This is pushed in while they're on their knees and bound, and it is to teach them. It gets their attention. That is one use. That is often what I use it for while training. Because you get a lot of women that, like if you put them underwater, they can hold their breath for 45 seconds, but you put your cock down their throat, and all of a sudden they have to breathe every 10 seconds. This is to notify them that they do not have to, that they're going to stay down on it, sucking on it properly as long as you desire. Another way that it is used, there's a lot of different ways to use it. You can use it for enhancing punishment. Like you can tie them into a beautiful arch, so they're arched back and then, beat their ass. I had one where you put it on the wall. This is a hard one. This is a really intense one. You had a clamp that went around it like this. It would clamped up on the wall with restraints up on high, and when she didn't do her chores properly, one of the really severe punishments was I would put the hook on the wall. I would lift her up with her legs around my waist, and then I would lower her onto the hook, and with her hands bound up above her head, and she's up on her tiptoes, like she can't get off of it. And she's up there like struggling with this thing up her ass. It hurts a lot. And she has to stay there struggling naked, hooked to the wall for as long as it takes me to do her chores for her since she didn't do them. And that's not actually the punishment. That's the waiting for me to get her punishment done. So that's usually a brat breaking thing. But a lot of women find this to be extremely intense. You got to know how to use it correctly. One thing that all guys should have, I have this just as a gift set because I go through these a lot, are these things. These are called Benoit balls. They go in the vagina. And they are for both strengthening the Kegel pelvic floor muscles, but also teaching a woman, how to do a milking with those muscles. When we talk about how women are bad at sex, but what I don't get to talk about on TikTok a lot is how to help them become good at sex. The physical the techniques that they can use to become good, the different toys and mechanisms we can give to them to help them. I will tell you that is one of the favorite things that I give to a lot of women. I buy them like 5 at a time. You give them to a woman, and she must carry them at all times. And anytime that you want, you contact her, and she has to put them in whenever you say. So you tell her it's time, and she has to go to the bathroom and put them in, and keep them in until you decide that they come out. And most women, they're intent, like, because it's drawing their focus down there, they're stimulated, the things are moving around, getting them all ready and teased. They have to clench the whole time. It has a lot to do with that kind of long foreplay build up. It has a lot to do with dominance. They feel very submissive because they're they have to. It's a great thing to do if you're taking them out on a date that night. You make them put them in. I had a girl who was a dancer for the Sacramento Kings that I was seeing, and I put them in a restaurant. I made her give me her panties in the restaurant, because she'd been smarting off, and she'd been like flirty smarting, like you're not going to do it. So I made her take off her panties. I put her panties in her mouth, and I put the balls in while she was sitting there at the booth, and she orgasmed from that. Of course, I used a little thumb motion there, and literally left a big wet spot on the seat when we went out to the. She didn't even make it past the car. In the car, she had to have the sex. Different style content on YouTube. No, but I think I can speak more freely here. In TikTok, last time I was on TikTok, I was with a friend who ran nuclear reactors in the Navy, and we were talking about things like how to properly pronounce nuclear, and it got banned. I don't understand why that happened, but I've had 15 videos banned today. And apparently 2 women are working on doxing me. So obviously on TikTok, there's a lot of contention. I'm hoping there's much less so on YouTube. I would not have shown that on TikTok. So I'm not so much that it's different as allowed to move around some. The neat thing about TikTok is that when I go live, there's just dozens and dozens of people scrolling by, and a lot of them jump in and they ask questions, and there's a lot more interaction. I'm hoping that will develop on YouTube. There we go. Guys, it's time for me to take my stank ass to take a shower. I am really, really thankful that all of you joined me on TikTok. This is my first, TikTok, on YouTube. This is my first YouTube. Hopefully this grows. Hopefully I don't get banned on TikTok, but it might. So I hope to see you guys again. I'm planning to do another movie watching night. We did Cloud Atlas 2 weeks ago. It was a great time. I'm hoping to watch Dark City next time, so I'm going to be setting that up. Hopefully everybody will join me for a movie night. It won't be this weekend. This weekend I have a sub Friday. I have a date Saturday. Sunday I'm going to be doing volunteer stuff all day. So I'm kind of busy this weekend, probably next weekend. So thank you, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.